Neil, how are you looking when it comes to injuries? Any better options or better news ahead of Saturday?
Well, from the team that we could pick on, or the squad we could pick on the previous Saturday, I think we've got obviously James Gibbons played half a game the other day. I think he felt all right to play longer, but there's a precaution. We took him off at half time. And other than that, we've not had anybody else train, so we're just going to give it as long as possible, really, until we name the team for Saturday.
Hopeful over your captain?
I think you're always hopeful, but it would be wrong to give support as sort of false hope. If he can play, then obviously it's a plus for us. But you'd have to say at the moment the chances are against him.
What do you make of James Gibbons? He's had an injury, he's had a bit of a dip in form, but potentially he's got pretty much everything for a League Two fullback.
I think James Gibbons, like I say, when I came into the club, he was certainly playing really well. He looked a real prospect, and I don't think you go from looking a real prospect to especially at his age. Nothing's changed with that in that regard. I think you sometimes do have a dip when you're a young player and you come in, and I think initially you've got no fear, you play with no fear. But then I think the couple of times you got sent off, probably that gave him a little bit of doubt, I think, which it would do, because I think you feel then you can't go into tackles like you want to, which is his natural game. And then I think you have to understand that we were in a relegation fight, so he's been under pressure. So it's not been an easy time for James. It's not like he's been able to go into a team that's full of confidence in winning games. So he's had a lot to contend with, but I would never change my opinion. He's got a great attitude. Like I say, good lad. Wants to do well. Wants to play for the club, and I'm still confident that he can have a good future.
How are you feeling after this week? It's been a tough week for you.
Well, like I said, it's been the worst weekend I've ever had in football, and when you've been involved from being 16 and to the age I am now, it's there's a lot of years and a lot of low points, I suppose, in any career. So it's not been great, but you don't throw your pack in your career or throw your career away because you're having a hard time. You have to front up. You have to face everybody, and you have got to be prepared to keep going and work hard, and you're hoping that you'll get a good result which you can build on. But certainly not going to be easy. I would feel more confident if I had everybody fit, but I think it is what it is. Certainly don't want any sympathy, and you've got to keep fighting on.
As a manager, no matter how much experience any manager's got at whatever level, are you still taking things away from like weeks like this or better weeks, whatever weeks they are, that you're learning from?
I think you always learn no matter what age you are. You always look at things differently after games, you analyse games, and I think you're always learning things. And I'd have to say, as a manager, you try and take the pressure away from the players. I think that's part of my job, and I've never been a manager who, I certainly don't try and belittle players, and I don't sort of single players out for criticism. But I do feel the team, there comes to a point where they've got to stand up and be counted. They've got to take responsibility for what they do on the pitch, and they've got to realise what the importance is of their performances, and they've got to take a pride in them, and they've also got to take responsibility for what they're doing on the pitch, because it does impact on a lot of people, and you can only, as a manager, you're responsible for results, but at the end of the day, the players have got to do better out on the pitch.
What are you thinking going to Oldham with your away form at the weekend? Last time at Grimsby wasn't great away, but the time before that at Crewe was brilliant. So what are you expecting from this one?
I think I'd be, after the result we've had, and after the run that we're on, it would be absolutely ridiculous to say anything other than what I'm going to say. That it is going to be a hard game. Any away game's difficult. You know what it's like in this league. You'd have to say a big factor, we must not concede in the first 5 minutes like we've done in the last 2 games. I think that certainly you need to be getting into the game. You need to be putting a platform down to try and get a result. So we must make sure that we're solid and we don't get off to a bad start.